traveling.
All right, have a seat.
Sure.
This one was ordered by my...
That's way too much.
Try to do things together. Hello there, welcome to MNB World Talk Show's next episode. Today we have invited someone very special who's a scientist, and he's a Ph.D. in computer science, and he's a senior software engineer at Silicon Valley for 21 years. But he's known as a historian, and this gentleman's name is Mr. Baatar Shirchin. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you?
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for receiving our invitation and participating in our talk show.
No problem. Yeah.
Let's get to the questions directly.
Okay. Go ahead. Yes.
Your career is in IT engineering,
Yes.
software.
Yes.
But at the same time, you studied history.
History, archaeology, and
Archaeology.
anthropology.
Yes. Why?
Yeah.
Because in some interview you said chasing two careers at the same time is a very hard thing to do.
Yes, that's true. So that is when I started in Japan. Japanese people so much attracted and asked Mongolian culture.
Okay.
And so I had to be ready to answer to any question. So I was so ashamed that I don't know anything about our ancestral culture. So rapidly, couple of years, I especially spent time in Japan to study Mongolian culture and history, mainly about Mongolian Empire, and whereas Japanese people interested. I just read the questions later, and so I just prepared myself. That's why my first jump to study to history, and later I took it like second major of my study. So.
So during that time you fell in love with history, is that it?
Yes. Absolutely, but that was a little bit background, and was in the middle school, high school. But I loved to read history. But mainly, I was shocked, and I didn't know about our history when I was in Japan. So that's the main point.
How easy or how difficult was it to study about Mongolia in Japan?
No, that's
if you were in Mongolia, it is easier, but maybe it has its own benefits to be in Japan and study about Mongolia.
No, I had two ways to make study.
Okay.
One is I have direct communication with Mongolian universities professors and teachers. This is one way. Second way is Japanese books are very good.
On Mongolia?
About Mongolia, yes. Then I can find almost any book about Mongolian studies in Japan. So it's only I need to spend a little bit time to read and practice myself. That's the main point. Yeah.
Well, you have studied in major universities around the globe. For example, Harvard University's School of Medicine, Hamamatsu Medical School in Japan, American University and Japanese University. The biggest difference that you have observed?
So Japanese universities, when there is a lot of things, materials to read and analyze, one person cannot catch up. Okay. That's why Japanese students work in a group, 4 or 5 people in one small group. And each of them read same time different topics, sit together 1 or 2 hours and exchange their knowledges. That is very team-oriented people, Japanese. Americans are different. They're very individual people, and so then learn. Everyone have different skill. Mainly in the US, but it's very competitive world, you know.
Yes.
Then as people when they study all kind of things, they really focus. They never jump between different topics. Just get one topic and focus it, end up. Also, Japanese, American students have very good skill in written English.
Written English,
yes.
Okay.
That's why they can read everything and summarize and write in some box and then present it.
And how about in Japan?
Japan is different. The Japanese people read a lot, but when sit together, make presentation, and just making a rotation. Today I can present, tomorrow you can present, something like that. That is different, approach is very different. One is team-oriented, one is very individual-oriented.
And that shows the cultural differences as well.
Mainly depending on Asian culture and European culture. The contrasts come there,
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting information.
I don't know.
Maybe it's not to you, to us and to our audience.
So for me, it's just need to survive. I need to adapt in both
You're
sides.
just surviving.
Yes.
Okay. Well, as a tradition, we introduce you on papers and we introduce your resume to our audience.
Okay,
What he has done, what he's been through as education and career-wise.
Yes.
So let's take a look at Mr. Baatar Shirchin's resume. Well, very impressive resume. Well, I mean, when I saw your resume for the first time on papers, I was very impressed and a little bit scared.
No, I'm just simple person and all those work in progress. All time I need to update. That is, I just social animal that is depend on, and belongs to those society. So that is, those society made me like that. So
what happens when we don't protect our history?
So
why this protection of history and knowledge is very important?
Because now as we are living in globalized world, everything comes from outside. There is, we cannot control everything, because still if we preserve our language and identity, the first question is who I am. I am Mongolian. Have to speak in Mongolian and need to know Mongolian culture. Also, we have to catch up all different cultures around the world. So just because not we are only developing, entire world is just developing in the same situation technologically.
Yes.
We just we can communicate in any place in the world. In this moment, we need to main protection of our identities. We need to deeply need to learn Mongolian language. If you very sensitive and very good learned in your Mongolian language, you have to be easily adapt or understand your culture. If you every Mongolian person is just carrying own culture. We have to be introduce those culture to the world. So that's the main thing. So we just no need to think about someone's come to invade us and we need to invade or just do something bad to others, hating other people. It's not so important. Only in the world, is everyone is human being. We are now so much educated. The world is so much changed. What we need to do, Mongolians need to know own language and knowledge is much better than others and show and present to others. By those way, we can integrate with the world culture and become in same harmony. So
become in same harmony in our own ways.
Own ways. Yeah, everyone have different color. So world is so many different colors. We have to find our own color in the world colors. So that's Mongolian blue or whatever. Yeah.
Very nice. We have to find our own color.
Yes.
That's very nice. Well, you're a historian, as we mentioned earlier, and
just I'm student, just a work in progress. So
okay.
I'm
to me, you're a historian.
Trying to be
for
the
yourself,
good
you're
guy.
A student. To me, you're a historian.
Okay.
Okay. And then you have studied immensely the Khitan.
Liao Khitan,
Yao Khitan Empire.
Yes.
Well, as we know, we have prepared a little bit more about your study about Khitan Liao Empire, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at that.
My second major is Khitan Liao study. I worked in this field around 18 years in last, so I'm trying to write some book about Khitan culture, because Khitan culture is very important for Mongolian culture. It is a pre-Mongolian empire. Empire actually developed this, not developed, these people is actually lived in Mongolian soul about 200 or 300 years at least, and made great empire. So then we learned about this Khitan people. They have nomadic culture. Also, they have Mongolian language. It's a Mongolic language. Also, these people lived in Hyanggang Mountain. It is a southeastern part of Mongolia. It's now is inner Mongolian part. So these people when ruled over Khitan. Also they included 16 provinces of Sun dynasty, northern Sun. So Khitan culture is very unique because they used mainly Chinese technology based on Mongolian ideas or Khitan ideas. Also they influenced a lot from Persian culture, Greek-Roman culture. So it's a lot of mixed cultures in here. We think Khitan culture is just a crossroad of the culture of 10th to 12th century.
Well, very interesting.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, we've been talking about very intellectual stuff.
Yes.
For the last few minutes.
Yep. Okay.
we are not all brains.
Yes.
We have hearts, and we are all human beings, as you said,
Yes.
social animals.
Yes.
What was the biggest failure in your life?
Yeah.
You think when you look back?
When I look back, my biggest failure is I failed to come back to work in my home country in 3 decades. That's all as I had patience. My mind, everything is in Mongolia. My body is in the United States. So that's my main pain. So that's, I think, I failed to come back to work in the home country. Yeah.
But at the same time, if you were in Mongolia,
Yeah.
you couldn't have done what you have done, no?
I'm not sure, because I cannot predict. It is so difficult. Maybe I went outside of Mongolia and spent so many years. I developed myself as I needed. So if I stayed in home in here, maybe I didn't do that.
Yeah.
That's the contrast. Yeah.
Yeah. There's always
Yeah.
2 sides.
Yeah. So I wrote book. You know, that is our culture. I just we are in some time frame we lived it. If we have to write about it. So if I had more experience in Mongolian culture and European culture, I can scale it. That's why I just scaled and analyzed, and very thoughtful I wrote book. That's why this book is going to stay to Mongolian people, just and the younger generations can learn about it. And so
Well,
that's been my goal, and to preserve our culture. And
So this is the book written by Mr. Baatar, and Minus Mongol, which translates into lifestyle.
my childhood, or simply maybe.
Yeah, my childhood in Mongolia.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
my childhood
simple,
in
yeah.
Mongolia.
Yeah.
And this is explaining lots of Mongolian lifestyle, especially nomadic lifestyle, and meanings behind all the small gestures and deeds that
Yes.
Mongolians do
Yeah,
daily. Let's talk about Silicon Valley.
sure.
Your life is spent in Silicon Valley. How does one day goes by?
So we actually work in team. Teamwork. People maybe work from, some people work from home. We call telecommute. As sometimes we have to work in the same in our office. So in my case, I work 5 days work. 1 day I work in office. 4 days I work from home.
What?
Yes.
You work 5 days, but you say 1 day at office,
4 days from home.
4 days from home.
Yes.
Okay.
Home-based work. So what I need to do, we have our company's headquarters and mainly located in Chicago. We have 2 hours time difference. I start early morning, 7 o'clock. We have a lot of meetings. Early mornings we have 2 or 3 hours meetings. Then work.
These meetings are all online?
Yes, online and on conference calls.
On conference calls.
So,
Okay.
so we can make presentation, we can listen other people, and after that they start to work. And so once we know about we call every morning we have flash meetings. Flash meeting is today's talk. Today's just flash meeting is a small team, 15 minutes. Everyone need to talk 3 minutes, for example, 5, 6 people. My project is now in this stage. This is a problem I need to do, resolve. So I need to spend this kind of time, wrap up or finish this project. So next morning in another update. Then it goes this way. Okay. Then when we start to work, we just coding and listen music and just I go refrigerator every 10, 20 minutes, and so it is home. So you know, just someone calls, I can. It's very freestyle,
easy going,
freestyle. If even some Mongolians calls me in problems, talking daytimes, I just respond to them, and I have to come back to work. It's my responsibility. Then I work in the back end and do my stuff. Even it's a little bit late hours, doesn't matter. It's just very, very free.
Well, you have mentioned about coaching younger kids. Since
Yes.
we talked about the younger generation,
Yes.
like me,
Yes.
you obviously have kids.
Yes, I have two boys. Yes.
Let's talk about your children.
Yes.
They grew up in United States,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Do they speak Mongolian?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because my kids speak in home in Mongolian. I have spent every day 1 and 2 hours or 1 hour practice with them in Mongolian language. Then when I was when little younger, that's mixed up English Mongolian, and sometimes they responded in English. But overall, when they grow up and become more intelligent, they attempt and try to speak more Mongolian. So now they speak fluent. But only little problem is slow to read in Cyrillic and Mongolian. They can read because I gave to them some homework to read, some stories. They can read smaller book. But still, we communicate at home without any problem. Still, I think that is if kids preserve the language, they preserve the identity of Mongolian culture. Still, they're going to be Mongolian, but not American. So if they lose language, they're not going to be completely American, because the environment is American, language is American, culture is American, and mentality is American. So that's why I'm just making my kids hybrid.
So learning Mongolian means that you are learning to be learning to think in Mongolian.
Yeah.
Way.
Yes.
That's
That's exactly root. If you speak, which your language is first language and which one is major language, you think on those language. If your Mongolian is base, then you think in Mongolian, but you can understand easily Mongolian culture. That's mentality, mindset is in Mongolian always.
I know that takes lots of patience and hard work, because I've known so many people in United States and trying to teach their kids Mongolian.
No, one more thing. My wife is a teacher. She is, because it's why it's called mother language. So mother is first person to teach language, you know. That's why my wife is so disciplined to teach them. I'm very agitated. Just when I teach it, I become non-patient. My wife is slow and relaxed.
It is hard
So
work.
it's big work. So she actually dedicated her most time to teach the kids.
Wow, great work, great work.
It's just cooperative work. My wife and me.
Cooperative wife and you. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It is a work. It is
It's
work of a
really,
lifetime. Even.
really is good one. Yeah.
You know, raising your kids in America with fully Mongolian.
You guys
with full Mongolian.
Next time meet with my kids and fluent. They
Great.
speak and understand Mongolian, no problem.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we prepared again a video about your hobby.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Shall we show it to our
Oh, yeah.
audience? Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay. This is Mr. Baatar's hobby.
So my hobby is collecting LP records. So this hobby actually continued in the last 3 decades. When I was a student around 30 years ago in Soviet Union, we started to collect records. So record actually was about 10 years ago. It was just a freeze, and people never didn't interest about collecting records. So in the last couple of years, again, it's come back this culture, and all who has same hobby to collect records made network. And so I'm located in the United States, and my collection is in there. Today I just came to my friend's home in Mongolia. It is his great painter, software, and software's collection is here. We actually have similar copy, and always we have good cooperation and work together. So we collect and we share, and this is booming. It's a new culture again come back. And so, yeah, records also published, printed a lot, and so we have exchanged these records. So mainly now is playing Queen. Queen is one of great band, and so when I was a student in 1986, I think, when they played in Wimbledon Stadium in UK. So those time, and Russian students actually took those by radio. We actually heard this concert, and so after that, we had opportunity to find this record, and so on. I have a collection about over 2,000 records, and mainly Pink Floyd and Queen and the Beatles and all kind of classic kind of records, AC/DC and all Metallica, all those kind of hard and soft rocks. So our generations actually had a lot of enjoyment of mid 80s and 70s music. So I very enjoy when I programming. So that is listening and working in those condition is very good. Who's for programmers.
Wow, very interesting, very classic actually.
Oh yeah, it's
LP records.
Yes.
Antique.
Yes, antique.
Antique.
So it is who people grew up in 60s, 70s, 80s. They used to use it. So
You guys are...
now it's booming. Culture has come back. That's why I'm so happy.
My next question
Sure.
is about Mongolian society, about Mongolia in general.
Yeah.
When people are outside
Yeah.
of Mongolia, living
Yeah.
or traveling, studying, whatever, they have something to compare, and they have a view of someone who is outside of box.
Yes. Yes.
And they have so many things to criticize, or so many things that could be changed in the society.
Yeah.
They see those kind of things.
Yes. So
What is yours? What do you want to change?
So
if you could.
Yeah, I can say 2 things.
Okay.
One is very the mindset need to be changed. Mongolian mentality.
Mentality.
Yes, because our mentality is there is main thing is accept foreign culture and accept own culture. That need to grow of educated mindset. We are actually a very dynamic and flexible people because we are nomadic people. We can adapt to any culture.
Yes.
So it's easy to lose our nation, our own identity.
Uh-huh.
That's main thing. That's why we need to educate people. Why so important Mongolian culture for Mongolians? And so then basically we of course respect to others, but respect not too much. So we first put our own cultural stuff in number 1. Number 2 is others. But we still respect, but we don't need to put others' cultures above our own culture. That's I'm talking about mentality. It's my first question. Secondly, when I really want to change all these addresses, every names here is in English. Like villa, tower.
Oh, we have great names.
The great names, and but it looks like great maybe for some people who's selling, who's buying, because they're competing for brands. But if I look from outside, it is maybe because outside people not respect to those people if it's everything is English. If it is in Mongolian characters, Mongolian addresses and written in little in English, people can respect first. Oh, it is different culture, different people. Russians, always use Russians characters. Chinese use Chinese. So Americans, of course, English is number one.
Yes.
But who is actually colonial countries? Was those countries, for example, about 60, 70 years. Some people is British colonies and some people is French colonies. Those people is developed everything set up in English, like in African countries and Arabian countries.
But we were never.
We never been that. Why now? You know, we never was colony, but now we looks like colonies. So that's why. Though who's speaking those languages, read it. They don't care about. They really they look down. In my impression, that's no. That's the main thing. We need to be a little bit think about it. That is why.
That is really something to look at. Really, yes. Most of our signs and posters are English now.
Yeah, it is
many names in English.
Doesn't show any Mongolian identity in there. We have
but
history.
You are not
we have characters.
We are not disrespecting the English language or other culture. But we have to put our identity first.
Yes, number one.
Something to really
then,
look at.
If you have own culture, own identity, and people, outsiders, respect for you because you have long history and long culture, then you can have to present it. First thing is written letters. This is classic Mongolian or Cyrillic Mongolian, doesn't matter. Even Cyrillic Mongolian is questionable. This is classic Mongolian. People never saw it. First time see it, impression is good. Wow, this country has own culture. Same as me. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of.
That's
yeah. Oh, I have my own unique culture too.
Chinese characters or Russian characters, but this is different because we don't have it. If we have it, something like that.
Okay, I got it. My very last question, and it is a traditional question. My traditional question. It is about future.
Yes.
But you have to give me detailed future image that you want for Mongolia.
Oh, yeah, that's my...
From your perspective, what kind of image do you want for the future for Mongolia?
Mongolian people, first, the most important thing is people. In my impression is Mongolian people have to be healthy and have to be educated. Education is so important for Mongolian people because Mongolia have vast land, so huge land, sandwiched between two superpowers in the world. We have to be smart, smarter than other guys, you know. Why? How to be smarter than other guys? We have to be very, very educated. So our education is one of main focus, and the health situation is another focus, Mongolians. If Mongolians are very educated, very healthy, then I hope for next generations to develop this country better than what we are doing.
Okay.
That's my impression, yeah.
Health and education
That's
for the future.
The most important. For future, because we have to pay more attention for younger generation, be healthy and educated. Then they take care about the rest of them after us. Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm very pleased to talk here. It's very often very nice.
And I wish you good health and good luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us. This has been Mr. Baatar Shirchin, the Ph.D. in computer science and a historian. I hope you enjoyed our talk show and see you next week with our next episode.